Hey everybody, welcome back to Paranormally Correct. I am your host Sarah, and today we're talking about the Mandela Effect. And as you can see by the title, this is not your average Mandela Effect video. That is because I am a skeptic. I'm very skeptical of all things, whether those things are supernatural or not. And I think that asking questions and being curious is a beautiful thing. I think that that's how we grow and how we learn. And although I have to say, sometimes the Mandela Effect theories are a little interesting, I don't think that it's really something that exists in our reality. If there's anyone out there at this point who isn't familiar with the Mandela Effect, let me just read you some of my notes that I have to kind of explain it and put it into perspective. Basically the theory that well, there's several theories, let me just say that first. But it's a theory that someone at some point has traveled back in time, made some sort of alteration to the past. But there's another one I find interesting, and that is the theory that CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, has created a device called the Hadron Collider that could actually send someone back into the past or time travel. Guys, let me just say real quick that if you hear a lot of popping and explosions in the background, it's almost the 4th of July. My neighbors are going crazy. So I really apologize for that. There's really no way to get away from it. So sorry, let's get on with the video. The CERN theory, the CERN time travel theory, to me sounds pretty fantastic. It sounds like a really interesting sci-fi movie. The idea that some omnipotent organization is creating some huge global conspiracy to do what? I don't know what the end result or goal is, but I don't really think that CERN has anything to do with it. I have a lot of theories about CERN myself. Sorry about that. I picked the worst time to try to film, guys. I do have 3 very, very good pieces of evidence, I think, that support my theory, which is that the Mandela Effect is just a big conglomerate of false positive evidence. Let's think about the theory of time travel based on the foundation of what people believe as far as the Mandela Effect and CERN and all of these things. With time travel, if you were to time travel today, you were to go back to pick any event in any time, you go back and you change something. Then when you return to present day, by their own theory, how would you know that anything was different? If time is linear, and we know that it is, it doesn't make sense that you would be able to come back to present day and realize the change that you've made. I think it's easier to contemplate these things, but then when you put them out in words, out into the world in front of other people, I think you start to realize how crazy the whole thing sounds. Basically, my very first question for the Mandela Effect and people who believe that the Mandela Effect exists is, how do you carry a change in history all the way back into time, into the present with you, and actually be aware that there is a difference if time is linear? And let's talk about the next reason. I took the liberty for you of looking up the cost of the collider. Now this is from member countries, altogether over. The collider cost over $13 billion. $13 billion. That's a lot of money. $13 billion to do what? If CERN and the collider is responsible for time travel, they basically just spent $13 billion on traveling back in time, at least maybe 50 years or so, and changing the label on foods, or changing catchphrases for movies, or changing the location of Marilyn Monroe's mole. Also consider the risk of whatever human test subject who was probably promised $50 a day to take part in some weird undercover experiment. What kind of danger would this person be in when they stuff him into a machine and try to send him back in time or out in space or whatever, wherever they go, however they do it? That's a lot of human life at risk, and who knows how many times it takes to get it right. So if we're talking about some sort of like magical telephone booth in like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, then we could be talking about they maybe have killed hundreds of people. How many times did it take to get it right? Regardless of how many people they might have killed testing out their new equipment, we're talking about a lot of money. And even if you don't believe that CERN has anything to do with it, you would still probably also have to agree that if time travel is possible, they would have to have some type of equipment to be able to you know, metaphysically transfer a human being into a different time and space and reality and multiverse, whatever. So even if it's not something attached to the collider, it's probably also worth millions or billions of dollars. For those of you who don't think that CERN has anything at all to do with it, and you think maybe it's got something to do with like string theory or bleed throughs, I don't know. I don't know much about the string theory. It doesn't click in my head. I don't get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And it definitely doesn't make as much sense to me as just logic. There are just perfectly good explanations for what could actually be going on with the Mandela Effect. I don't know if you guys ever watch the TED Talks here on YouTube, but I find them really interesting. I don't always agree with everything that they talk about, all the different speakers, but I love to hear about it. I love to hear their stories and presentations. One of them that I accidentally stumbled across, it was all based on false memories.
I don't study when people forget. I study the opposite, when they remember. When they remember things that didn't happen or remember things that were different from the way they really were. I study false memories.
Elizabeth Loftus talked about this case, this criminal court case, where an innocent man was sent to prison for something he definitely did not have anything to do. Like, he wasn't anywhere near or close to like even being in the area where the incident happened. The point of the presentation is that our memories do not serve us as well as we think that they do. In fact, our ability to recall things is not always very accurate, and we tend to fill in the blanks by ourselves with just a little mix of assumption and imagination. And for whatever reason, this poor man who was sent to prison was identified for absolutely no reason other than this woman's memory apparently was not working very well. I'm going to link that video down in the description box so that you can check that out. I've also already posted it on the Facebook page, so maybe you already saw it there. Definitely watch it, especially if you find yourself really drawn to the Mandela Effect and really fascinated by it. This is something that everyone really should see. I also want you guys to leave in the comments anything that's happened to you that you feel like maybe part of the Mandela Effect, or you know, maybe at this point you're starting to think that maybe it could be a false memory. False memory is something that comes up a lot with paranormal topics. Like, I think in the past we've talked about witness sightings or something like that, and in the future we're going to talk more about it too. And just a few weeks ago on the Facebook page, I posted a little mini story about the chupacabra, which was always one of my favorite paranormal creatures or cryptozoological creatures. And the funniest thing about the chupacabra is that I think it definitely does not exist. I say that because the witness report of the chupacabra was a report based on a character from a movie. It was obvious to authorities that the woman who claimed to have seen this spiny half kangaroo type creature was basically just recounting a main character from from a sci-fi alien movie. That's obviously deliberate, but there are times when people see something and the longer that they think about it, the more distorted it becomes in their head, and then they're unable to really recount exactly what they saw or what happened. False memories and the paranormal kind of go hand in hand, unfortunately. A lot of witness reports turn out to be a little exaggerated, a little bit distorted. It's a common thing if you see something that your brain is not prepared for, not necessarily used to. A lot of times you will experience this sort of false memory effect. So guys, that's just a quick little video for you about the Mandela Effect. If you have an experience or a story or just a question or anything you want to contact me about, you can get a hold of me through any of these social media platforms. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I love reading your comments and your messages. So let me know what you think about this video. Share your opinions and theories with me. Take care guys. This is Paranormally Correct. I will see you guys later.